Let's build this application now and run it to see if this functionality works. Like I always say, I like to write code incrementally, so I don't want to write too much. I want to test the application intermittently. That's the easiest way to capture any bugs. So we can say Dr. Seuss. So we click on this search. We just wrote to the console. So the console, we wrote the return value. So 2 books by Mr. Dr. Seuss have been returned. So we have just not used this data yet. So I hope that makes sense. So we said this is the return data. We just said console.log the data. That's all we said. So let me show you how this whole thing works. Okay, so if I click on search, my breakpoints here. So my first URL and search string. So let's see what's in the URL. That's what we said. What is in the search string? Source. This is the value from this particular element. Okay, now we are building this get method. We are sending the URL. So we are sending this object like this for input. And then this is going to be the return data. Now we are calling the backend. See, you can see the breakpoint is coming there. So we know it's working. Now what happened? The console shows the array. So we saw ID and title. So instead of saying that, let's build a so we know data is coming as an array. So I'm just going to do a each. Okay, so I've created a unordered list, and I've created list items here. I'm just appending the ID and title. Maybe there could be some space here. So first of all, this UL has to be attached to something. It has to be attached to results. So this is how we create a list. So I'm just like taking so I'm getting an array called data. Inside that array, so what I'm doing here in the success function, right after the data is all returned, I'm just like first logging the data to see how the data format is. Then what I'm doing is I'm just creating a unordered list with a title like that, and then I'm appending it to the results, which is here, which is good. Then I'm stepping through each item inside the data, and what I'm doing is I'm creating a list with the item ID and item title, and I'm appending that list to the UL that we just created. Okay, let's build it. And the application, let's go to books. Open the Chrome, go to sources, make sure our changes are available. Yeah, I see all the changes. Okay. So if I go and say source, then I click on search by author, I see the title list of books by author source, and then I have the ID of the book and the title here. Okay. See, this is all appended to the results. So let's look at UL, LI, LI, and then it's attached to results. Okay, this is really what I wanted, and this is what I got. So I'm happy. So I made an asynchronous call when we clicked on this button to get the results. Well, we can make it as fancy as we want and fine tune all this code, but for now I think we're okay. The one thing I would say is see how it keeps appending every time. Instead, what we can do is we can just delete this and re-add. So for that, I can just say every time I just remove that guy and re-add it. Because the parent is removed, all the children will be removed automatically. So we don't have to separately remove the lists. We just have to remove the unordered list, the top one.